Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to Comic Basics. I'm Joel, and today's episode, the top 10 greatest Spider-Man villains of all time. It's pretty safe to say that Spider-Man has some of the best enemies in comic book history. On any given day, he could be attacked by Rhino, Chameleon, Lizard, Hobgoblin, and more. His list is so diverse that it's impossible to name all of his enemies. And why? Simply because there are always new ones popping up ready to be added to it. Fear not though, that doesn't mean that he doesn't have timeless enemies. Quite the opposite. Some of his enemies have made such an impact in his world that they've become as important to him as his costume. Basically, I mean that they are so important that because of them, he is who he is. But who are they? Who are the greatest Spider-Man villains of all time? Great question. What Vulture lacks in youth, he more than makes up for in intelligence and ingenuity. Adrian Toomes is a brilliant electronics engineer who, after his company was stolen from him, used his brilliance to craft a flight suit. With the flight suit, Toomes took to the sky to exact revenge on those who did him wrong. Unfortunately, Spider-Man was able to thwart his plot and, as a consequence, became one of Vulture's most fierce foes. Vulture has a few things going for him. Along with flight, the suit gives him heightened strength, speed, and durability, all of which makes him formidable to any who should cross him. In all honesty, I had a tough time putting Electro on this list, and I'll tell you why. Electro is nothing more than an electrically charged man capable of projecting electricity from his body. Sure, he can charge up and give himself super strength and speed, but those didn't sell me on the villain. What sold me was when I realized that I was missing the point. Electro deserves to be here for the exact reason I thought he didn't deserve to be here. He conducts and controls one of the most powerful forces in the world, electricity. Because of it, he can kill a person with a simple touch, create mayhem through total darkness, and more. And this is only when he's alone. When he's alongside the Sinister Six, he becomes an entirely new problem. As you'd probably expect by his name, Sandman is made of, well, sand. Even though this may not seem all too intimidating, don't let his name fool you. The Sandman deserves to be here. After radiation caused sand to bind with his body, Sandman was given the ability to control sand and rock particles. Due to this, he can grow and shrink his size, turn his extremities into any object imaginable, absorb physical blows, and become a literal sandstorm. Sandman is one of the greatest Spider-Man villains because he, unlike anyone else on this list, is nearly invulnerable. Quentin Beck, Mysterio, first appeared back in 1964 inside the pages of Amazing Spider-Man number 13. As a master of illusions, he quickly became one of the most deadly, tricky, and greatest Spider-Man villains ever created. Unlike many other Spider-Man enemies, Mysterio doesn't possess any superpowers. Instead, he uses his knowledge of special effects to carry out his crimes. This means that what he can do is only limited by his own imagination. But that isn't all. Due to his time as a stuntman, Mysterio is also proficient in hand-to-hand combat. Otto Octavius is the product of a tumultuous upbringing. His father, Torbert, was abusive towards Otto and his mother. He believed that all problems could be solved with violence. His mother, however, did not. When bullied in school, she urged him to use his brain to get out of problems. And he did. Otto's life was forever changed the day a harness with mind-controlled arms fused to his body. Taking the name Dr. Octopus, he began his descent down the lifelong path of crime. While Octavius is no match for Spider-Man alone, the addition of the 4 arms makes him an enemy not to be taken lightly. Let me tell you something. I'll tell you exactly why Kraven is one of the greatest Spider-Man villains of all time. He's one of the only to truly beat the wall crawler in battle. Kraven is one of those villains that fans have wanted to see brought to life for years. He is the antagonist in Kraven's Last Hunt, and is responsible for burying Spider-Man alive. He lives for the thrill of the hunt, and as such, has bagged just about every known animal in existence. Kraven is dangerous not because he could kill you before you knew what happened, but instead, Kraven is dangerous because he'd kill you, hang your head on his wall, and move on to his next target without ever showing any signs of remorse. Of all the Spider-Man enemies in existence, none gained popularity as quickly as Venom did. Venom is what happens when a man who believes his life was ruined by Spider-Man comes into contact with an alien who believes the same. Venom is the lethal combination of Eddie Brock and the Venom symbiote. Together, the two form a pairing as made for one another as lasagna and garlic bread. What makes them so dangerous is that not only do they know all of Spider-Man's secrets, they are much more powerful than he is. Kingpin is dangerous because of what he controls. He is Marvel's king of crime and has more influential people in his pocket than can be counted. He's been arrested and jailed over and over, only to escape time and again. Kingpin is one of the greatest Spider-Man villains because he's willing to do whatever it takes to succeed. This means that if you were to stand in his way, he'd have no problem killing you, your family, and your most distant friends to move you. Most of all, Kingpin is dangerous because he's not afraid to drop the gloves and get dirty. When talking about the greatest Spider-Man villains, the first villain that should come to mind is probably Carnage. Carnage is the offspring of the Venom symbiote, but much more lethal. This version wants death, chaos, and blood. So I guess that it helps that its host Cletus Cassidy wants the same. Some have said that Carnage is Marvel's long-awaited answer to DC's Joker, and I tend to agree. He's more violent and brutal than anyone on this list. But that's not why he's here. He's here because of his unpredictability. Nothing is more dangerous than something that can't be predicted. Green Goblin is to Spider-Man what Lex Luthor is to Superman, his mortal enemy. Whereas Spider-Man exists for the better good of humanity, Green Goblin simply does not. He's selfish, despicable, and will do whatever it takes to see Spider-Man suffer. As Norman Osborn, Green Goblin possesses an unrivaled intellect, more money than most can dream up, and a cache of weaponry that the army would be jealous of. Each of these, while great on their own, adds up to making him as terrible an enemy of Spider-Man as they come. And I'm going to wrap it up here. I hope you enjoyed that, and if you did, please hit that subscribe button. Thanks guys. Look, I know there's a million YouTube channels out there, and for you to take 5, 6, maybe 7 minutes to come check out one of my videos means the world to me. I can't thank you enough. I hope you'll come back, and until you do, I'll catch you next time.